Doubts of Russian President Vladimir Putin's 36-hour Christmas truce in Ukraine continue following reports of fresh attacks in Bakhmut and Kramatorsk.
Russia's Orthodox Christmas ceasefire is designed to harm Ukraine's reputation, analysts say.
Flying the flag for Ukraine, the country's tech stars show off their ideas at CES in Las Vegas.
Reports from the besieged Ukrainian city of Bakhmut say shelling has continued on both sides despite a truce declared by Russia. The AFP agency said gunfire could be heard around the area after the ceasefire was supposed to come into effect at 9 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Elsewhere, the Ukrainian president's office said Russian forces filmed here at an undisclosed location had hit Kramatorsk with rockets. There's been no independent confirmation of the claim. Before the ceasefire, Denis Pushilin, the Moscow-installed leader of the Donetsk region, said there should be no talk of any truce. On Telegram, he said his forces would respond to any attacks by Ukraine. Much of eastern Ukraine remains gripped by intensive daily combat. Russian President Vladimir Putin announced a 36-hour truce for Orthodox Christmas after an appeal from the Russian Patriarch. But it was immediately rejected by Ukraine as a ploy to allow Moscow's forces to recuperate and regroup.
Russia's announced unilateral Christmas ceasefire is likely an information operation intended to damage Ukraine's reputation, says the Institute for the Study of War. Vladimir Putin instructed Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu to initiate a ceasefire from midday on the 6th of January until midnight on the 7th of January, along the entire line of contact between parties in Ukraine. Ukrainian and Western officials immediately highlighted the hypocrisy of the ceasefire announcement and emphasized that Russian forces have launched over 40 missiles at Ukrainian cities, continuing striking military and civilian infrastructure on the 25th of December, when many Ukrainians celebrate Christmas. Putin could have been seeking to secure a 36-hour pause for Russian troops to rest, recoup and reorient to relaunch offensive operations in critical sectors of the front, to frame Ukrainian forces unwilling to work towards peace and wanting to fight at all costs, and to frame Ukraine as suppressing religious groups and position Putin as the true protector of the Christian faith. Now, this both would disproportionately benefit Russian troops and begin to deprive Ukraine of its initiatives, says the Institute for the Study of War. Ukrainian forces reportedly conducted a successful counterattack as Russian forces continued offensive operations around Bakhmut over the past couple of days. Russian sources refuted this report and claimed that Russian troops have advanced northeast and south of Bakhmut. New satellite imagery by technology company Maxar shows the impact of fighting in the eastern Ukrainian city of Bakhmut, revealing extensive destruction to buildings, homes, infrastructure and the fields in and near Bakhmut.
With still a few days to go until its release, more bombshell claims have been dropped from Prince Harry's highly anticipated memoir Spare.
For most of my life,
from losing his mother to losing his virginity, it seems there will be few stories unturned when it officially hits bookshelves on Tuesday.
I felt closest to my mother and
they reveal Prince Harry claims he killed 25 Taliban fighters when he was a soldier in Afghanistan. He says he thought of them as chess pieces, not people. Other claims delve further into the tense family situation. When his father, King Charles, first introduced Camilla to his sons, Harry talks of fearing a wicked stepmother and discouraged his dad from marrying the now Queen consort. The Duke of Sussex has also opened up about using cocaine and losing his virginity to an older woman. But there is also a deep seam of unresolved grief, with repeated references to his mother, Princess Diana, who died in a car crash in Paris in 1997.
Does Prince Harry's claim that he killed 25 Taliban soldiers threaten his security? Now, while it's not illegal for British personnel to discuss how many people they've killed, it does go against convention, and it's been highly criticised online. Take a look at this, for example. One former Royal Navy service person took to Twitter saying, "I've always had time for Prince Harry, but This claim has broken an unwritten rule in the armed forces. You don't discuss who and how many people you've killed, ever. Now, even a former British Marine who served with Harry and was described as a hero by the Prince after losing 2 limbs had strong words for him online. He said, "Love you, Prince Harry, but you need to shut up." More worryingly, those in Afghanistan have criticised the Prince quite a lot for describing his kills as chess pieces. Take a look at this, for example. This is a Taliban leader in Afghanistan. And he said, "Mr. Harry, the ones you killed were not chess pieces. They were humans. They had families who were waiting for their return." Now, that's a view widely held by Afghans on social media. Here's another one, which is pretty direct and quite threatening. It says, "Bloodthirst of the century. May God curse the terrorists of the West and their allies." And it includes a very large picture of Harry with a cross through it. Now, this could make life for Harry's security team much harder. He could face more threats due to his history in the army. And he's currently suing the British government to allow him to play for police protection in the UK. It's a privilege he gave up in 2020 after he stopped being a working royal. Now, some online have noted a sense of irony here, that this revelation about the Taliban kills, which has generated near universal criticism, could work against the prince's hopes to increase security for both him and his family.
There's little respite when it comes to inflation, as European consumers battle the surging cost of living crisis. But there is some hope. The latest figures released Friday show that consumer prices rose at the slowest pace since August. Eurozone annual inflation for December is estimated to be at 9.2%. And according to some analysts, this positive trend could continue.
We are seeing now a change in trend in inflation. I give a very large probability that inflation will continue to decline throughout 2023. And the main reasons for that, first, is that energy prices are now falling, implying that the costs of companies and also department stores are going down. So there is no price pressure from their side to raise prices. And secondly, wages increase much less than inflation, implying that consumers have a reduced purchasing power and they will consume fewer goods and services.
Consumers across Europe have been plagued by surging energy costs since Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine last February. Energy is still a main driver in terms of inflation, but the latest numbers indicate that's easing off for now. Energy costs receded sharply in October, down from 41.5% to 25.7%, while fresh food products saw a more moderate contraction from 13.8% to 12% over the last month. The majority of member states that use the euro as a currency saw inflation decrease over the past month, with a marked drop in Germany to 9.6% in December. Ireland, Spain and France were some of the countries to record the lowest inflation rates across the bloc, while Latvia, Lithuania and Estonia once again saw the highest levels.
Far away from the front line, Ukrainians are fighting for their country's cause in a distinctly non-military way. 12 Ukrainian startups are flying the flag at this year's CES Technology Conference in Las Vegas. Despite the war, they've managed to maintain a business-as-usual approach. Among their innovative ideas, a company that makes paper from fallen leaves.
So we use fallen leaves, get it from the city streets and parks to produce the most sustainable paper in the world without cutting the trees. And this solution has also several other features. First of all, the CO2 emission during the production is for 78% less compared to traditional paper production.
Small businesses in Ukraine have had to adapt to the circumstances of all-out war, but they're determined to continue, according to this entrepreneur whose company makes products from coffee grounds.
Ukrainians, they are pro-Western, European, so we have innovative ideas, startups a lot before the war and right now, so yes. Militaries are fighting, Ukrainian business is working, startups are developing, so everyone is doing their job.
A fund helping Ukrainian firms contacted 160 startups about participating in the CES event. Some have had to relocate because of the war, but none were forced to close.